Most on Christ live on both platforms. Clap it up. Shalom, Yahweh Shem, Shabbat Kathar, all the brothers. Yahweh Shemal, Athaba Hashem, Yahweh Shem, the sisters. This is the Isupk, the Israelite School for Practical Knowledge. Started out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohanan, right? Prison officer 50 Mahayar holding it down so Officer Thabawan arrives. So you know how we do. We're just gonna get it in, man. Just break down these scriptures like we always do. You understand? Break down the truth to blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, man. You understand? Hey, shalom, sis. Yahweh Shem, right? So, brother, from the top, you could about Kashal. Let me get Zephaniah 2 and 1. Right? We're gonna go till the brother get here. We're gonna just dive into this brotherhood. That's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna dive into this brotherhood because we know brotherhood is just imperative, you know what I mean, to the lives of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, right? When it comes to getting anything done, anything accomplished, even building something, you understand? You gotta have brotherhood. You gotta be on one accord, you know what I mean, on the same page with your brothers, man. You understand? And when you look to and fro out in the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian community, you notice is that we lack brotherhood. You understand? We don't know how to treat each other. We don't know how to talk to each other. And shalom, Yahweh Shem, Shabbat Kathar. What's going on, Officer Sadat? What's going on with you, brother?
Oh, you bad?
Yeah, Most High Christ.
Most High Christ, congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, clap it up one time for Sadat. You know what I'm saying? That brother proved himself worthy, man. You know what I'm saying? Pass that test, man. So y'all make sure y'all put some respect on that brother name. You understand? Right? They start calling me Ottawa, nigga. It's Isupk, right? But you understand, when you look it out in the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian communities, man, you notice that we lack brotherhood. You understand? We don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know how to treat each other. You understand? We don't know how to deal with each other. We don't know how to solve problems. And it's all because the so-called Christian church, man. You understand? The Christian church is supposed to be our leaders, right? But they are weak. You understand? They don't teach us the truth according to the Bible. You understand? They don't teach us that not only is there laws in this Bible, right, and the code of conduct, but there's also, the Bible also teaches you how to live, man. You understand? The Bible teaches you how to live your life, teaches you who you are, who your enemies are, who your friends are, teaches you why you're going through what you're going through. You understand? Teaches you how to get out of the situation you're in. You understand? Like, the Bible is the most sold book on the goddamn earth, yet it's the one book that's never read. It's the one book that's neglected and reputation is tarnished. You understand? But here in the Isupk, man, we put all the respect and the glory back on this Bible, man. You know what I'm saying? Under Commander General Yohanan, right? So when you get that, brother, read it from the top.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
Do what?
Gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather together. O nation, not desired.
O nation, not desired, man. You understand what I'm saying? O nation, not desired. It said gather together. Yea, gather together. You understand? It's mentioned twice. Why? Because, come on, man, we know how black people talk. Black person says shit twice, you know he mean what the hell he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Black man say something twice, man. He putting emphasis on it. Like, listen, you know what I'm saying? This is serious. It ain't no goddamn game. It ain't no joke. You know what I mean? The scriptures say, gather yourselves together. Yea. Gather together, O nation not desired. You understand what I'm saying? When you look to and fro out this earth, you know what I'm saying? Y'all is all, man. Who is not desired out here on this earth? Who we talking about? Scripture say, O nation not desired. Who could that possibly be talking about?
It's talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
It's talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, man. You understand? Because when you look at everything and what's going on, who are the people that are neglected? You understand? Who are the people that are hated? Who are the people that are mistreated? Who are the people that are abused? Who are the people that are raped, robbed, and murdered every goddamn day? You understand what I'm saying? Only blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You understand? Who are the people that receive no justice? You understand? Who are the people that have not been given any type of justice or redeemed? You understand what I'm saying? For what has happened to their forefathers and to hell, us today. You understand what I'm saying? Only blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians could possibly be the ones that are not desired. You understand what I'm saying? They love to show commercials on the TV about these third world countries with that little African babies with the big old bellies and the flies flying around their face. You know what I'm saying? Or the little Indian baby with no shirt on and some shorts, looking all sad, sitting in a corner somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But they have people in power that can take care of them that are their own people. You understand what I'm saying? They have what? They have their own government. They have their own army. You understand what I'm saying? They have their own businesses. You understand what I'm saying? Someone tell me they have a president that they can look up to that look just like them. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody tell me where the black ruler is. You know? Someone please tell me where the black government is. You know what I'm saying? Someone tell me where is the government and the army, you understand, for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, right? Somebody tell me where it is. You're not going to find it because we are that nation that's not desired, man. You understand? We are on the bottom of the totem pole and everyone treats us like the scum of the earth. Everyone eats at all the other nations. They eat at the table. They eat real good. Their plates are full. You know what I mean? They got a hand in everything. While up under the table, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians pick up crumbs. You know what I'm saying? We get government assistance. We get food stamps. You know what I mean? We get what? Section 8, housing. You understand what I'm saying? We get the crumbs, man. And there's even ramifications on our people to even qualify to get these things. If you need a camera, you need one of these, I got it right here. If you need this.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a camera. You know how to use it?
I can use my key. That's
what's up, yeah, you know how to do it. Shit, good thing.
That's what I normally do.
You understand? But blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are that nation that's not desired, right? So read it from the top.
Gather yourselves together.
Yea,
gather together, O nation, not desired.
O nation, not desired, man. You understand? Shalom says, Yahweh Shalom Taba Shina Rashad. You understand? We are that nation that's not desired. You know what I mean? And so, be that as it may, what's the best thing for us to do since we're not desired by everyone else? What you think, Yanazar?
Gather together.
To gather together, man. You understand? You gather together. This world is showing us day in and day out that they don't give a damn about us, man. You understand? Yet and still, we choose to cling on to the oppressor, cling on to this society, you know what I'm saying? Cling on to the things of this world rather than letting go and coming back to the goddamn laws, statutes, commandments in this Bible. You know what I'm saying? And that is because of the poison, in the sense of the drug that is proliferated, and it is called Christianity. You understand what I'm saying? Christianity, you know what I'm saying? Being a goddamn Christian, that is worse than being a crackhead, man. You know what I'm saying? Being a Christian is worse than being a crackhead because that crackhead can go to rehab in 6.5 months, 7 months, and be rehabilitated. You know what I'm saying? Get their life back together. But when you are a Christian, man, you know what I'm saying? That takes over your goddamn mind. It flows through your veins. It's in your thought process, how you even fathom and think about things, how you perceive things, your perspective on reality itself. You understand what I'm saying? It consumes you to the point where you can't even have a conversation with a brother that's telling you the truth about the Bible that you claim to read every day and you don't. You know what I'm saying? Christians are so sick in the goddamn head that they claim to know the Lord, know what the Lord telling them to do when they can't show you that in the goddamn Bible. Christians will sing and dance and jump up and down, but can't show you in the Bible where it says to do that. Christians will say, oh, the law is done away with. You know what I'm saying? Just love and love and love and forgive, but can't show you in the Bible where it says that. You know what I'm saying? Christians will say, oh, everybody's going to be saved and God loves everybody, but can't show you in the Bible where it says that. That is a sickness. That is a disease. You know what I'm saying? What you got, Anazar? Bring it up. What's
God is love.
Christians that tell you that the Most High power is love, love, love. He loves everybody. When we talk about a power that flooded the goddamn entire earth, man. Flooded the whole earth and saved 8 people. You understand? We're talking about a power that is allowing the chaos to reign. You know what I'm saying? Today, in today's society, who you think is allowing these nations to do what they're doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Who you think called that fierce nation against us, man? The Lord, man. The scriptures call the Lord a terrible power. You know what I mean? He's not a power to be played with. You understand what I'm saying? But drop that. Give me Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely your oppression. I think it's Ecclesiastes or Ecclesiastes. Let me see.
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes 7:7, right? We're just gonna break down some brotherhood scriptures, man. You understand what I'm saying? And show, you know what I'm saying, by breaking down these scriptures, man, we show that the Christian church, they don't know a goddamn thing. You know what I mean? Like you learn more in one ISUPK class about the Bible than you learn in over 50 years of being in the Christian church. Hell, being in the Muslim mosque. You know what I'm saying? Being in Egyptology, being in any other religion, right? Other than your true nationality, other than your true heritage. You understand what I'm saying? You learn more in one class than you learn your entire life in ISUPK, man. So we're gonna break down some scriptures and show you the truth, right, of the Bible, man. Right? So read that when you get it, brother.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Surely what?
Oppression maketh a wise man mad.
You know what I'm saying? Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, right? Surely seeing blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians getting raped, robbed, and murdered every goddamn day makes a wise man mad. You know what I'm saying? Surely me seeing the police brutality that's going on amongst my people, you know what I'm saying? Seeing my people die at the hands of the so-called oppressor, unrightfully so, maketh a wise man mad. You understand what I'm saying? Read on.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift destroyeth the heart, man. You understand what I'm saying? This so-called pastor, he lives in the same world that we live in, man. You know what I mean? He turn on the same TV we turn on and see the same news that we see. He got the same YouTube, you know what I'm saying, ads, the same Facebook ads, right? He know what's going on amongst his people, man. Yet and still, why is it that he doesn't give a damn? Why is it that he's not saying any goddamn thing about it? Read that last part one more time.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
What is that gift, man? What is that gift that can destroy your heart, right? That can keep you from being a wise man. You know what I mean? Keep you from being conscious about what the hell is going on. What could that possibly be? What could that gift be? Right? What could it be, Yanazar?
It could be material things.
Right? Give me the big one, man. Come on, bring it home.
It could be a false religion, like Christianity.
Yeah, damn right. Bring it home, though. Come on, man. What the Christian pastors, what they working for, man?
Filthy lucre.
Filthy lucre, man. You understand that? Money. You know what I mean? Money. Right? Your Christian pastor will neglect everything that's going on in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian community, man. Why? For filthy lucre's sake, as the brother said. For money's sake, man. You understand? He will neglect what's going on amongst his people for the love of money, man. Right? Read it from the top one more time.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
And the gift destroy your heart, man. That destroys them Christian pastors, man. You know what I'm saying? You think he's a God-fearing man? You going in that Christian church on Sunday dealing with a diabolical monster, man. You know what I'm saying? You going in there dealing with a filthy pig whose plan and intentions are only to go in there and rob you more and more every goddamn week. That's his plan, man. Not to save you out of the condition you in. Not to let you know why you're suffering and going through what you're going through. Not to help you out when your bills are low. Not to teach you how to raise your kids. Not to teach you how to deal with situations with your wife or with your husband. He goes in that Christian church to rob black. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because that gift destroys his heart, man. You understand? Only a diabolical monster can rob and beat and destroy a people that's already on the goddamn ground. You know what I mean? Even brothers, you know what I'm saying, Shalom, have a thought, what's going on, man? Even brothers who are decent and have morals, when you knock a brother down, you don't get on top of him and get the hell up. You let that brother stand up and defend himself. Why? Because that's an honorable thing to do. You know what I mean? That's an honorable thing, unless it's a life or death situation, of course. You know what I'm saying? Then by any means necessary, you know what I'm saying, Lord be with him. You know what I mean? But it's like, for you to kick somebody who's already down, abuse someone who's already down, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a monster, right? And that's what these Christian pastors do to black people. Black people going into Christian churches poor, have nothing. You know what I'm saying? Some of them don't even know how the hell they're going to get to the Christian churches. Some of them don't know how they're going to eat that night. You know what I mean? Some of them don't know what their life is about, what they're going through. And he goes in there and he just smiles. He smiles. He puts on a good show. at the end of that show, he count his goddamn money because that's all he gives a damn about. You understand what I'm saying? That's all he give a damn about. He might remember your name. You think just because he remember your name, your pastor give a damn about you? Hell, I remember customers at my job name. I don't give a damn about them. Hell, I remember what they order. You understand what I'm saying? It's like that don't mean I give a damn about them, right? That's not love. Me memorizing your name, you know what I mean, and maybe knowing that you got kids and saying how the kids and how your family doing, that don't mean I give a damn about you. You know what I mean? That's business in that Christian pastor's mind, man. That's how he treats his own goddamn people. Why? Because that gift has destroyed his goddamn heart. You understand what I'm saying? Real quick, let me hold Hosea 4 and 6, right? The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4.
Real quick, any questions or comments or concerns, just type it in the chat. If I can get the answer for you, I got you. If I'm not, I'll get back with you. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shema, Thaba, Shema, Shah, what's going on, sis? Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shema, Shah, what's going on, Sham, y'all? What it do, man? Right, read it from the top, brother.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
For lack of what?
For lack of knowledge.
For lack of knowledge, man. And what is that lack of knowledge, right? What is that lack of knowledge? Knowledge
Knowledge of the scriptures and self.
Knowledge of who?
The scriptures and self.
Knowledge of, you know what I'm saying, the scriptures, man. Knowledge of what the history is in this Bible and knowledge of self. Why? Because also in this Bible, what's in here? Your identity.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? Our identity is in this goddamn Bible. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know our identity as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, what happens when you don't know your identity? You go out and you try to find it. You understand what I'm saying? Why you think you've got Black people who think they're Muslims? Black people who think they can be Muslims. Black people who think they go to Ancestry.com and they're like, oh, I'm part Chinese. I'm 20% Chinese. I'm 10% Indian. You know what I'm saying? That's what the oppressor, this so-called oppressor, he love to say that. I'm 5% Blackfoot. If you don't get the hell out of here, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? According to the Bible, you are what your father is.
That's right.
If your father is a Black man, you are a Black man. If your father is a so-called European, you are a goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? What's up, bro?
I saw it. It was two sisters, two Black sisters. They were twins.
Hey, Doc, we got napkins in here or no?
I don't think so. Let me check.
Okay, no sweat. Go ahead.
They were twins. And they both put in their DNA. And both of them, their DNA came back different. Like they had different
fathers, right? You understand what I'm saying?
No, they had to say father in reality, but their bloodline, I think it was one of these.
I'll give it that. They use one of their websites.
Yeah.
To tell them what their identity was and whatnot.
And each one of them had a different identity.
Got their father in the house looking like, who the hell you done been with, woman? You understand? Meanwhile, she only been with him, but because they listen to some. You know what I'm saying? Jewish man somewhere. I don't even know how the hell they come up with these DNA results, man.
I don't either. Like, how did they went over there? How did they do that?
I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds far-fetched to me.
It's a bunch of bullshit to me. You ask me, it's a bunch of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You know how I know who I am and what nationality I am? I ask my father what he is. He asks his father what he is. He asks his father what he is, man. That's what the hell he was. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever your father is, that's what you are. Why? Because your father implanted his seed in your mother, and that seed grew. You know what I mean? You plant a goddamn apple seed, right? You're going to get apples. You ain't going to get bananas. Right. And you'll get watermelons. You're going to get apples. You understand what I'm saying? And this is not to tarnish, you know what I'm saying, or diminish the value of a woman at all. You know what I'm saying? Because she does carry that child and nurture that child for those whole 9 months. And even furthermore after, you understand what I'm saying? But when it comes to the nationality of that baby and of you, your father is who determines it. Right. You understand what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? Read it from the top. This one.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6.
Right. My
people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou has rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
You understand what I'm saying? So because we neglected, you know what I'm saying, rejected the knowledge, man, of the Lord, you understand what I'm saying? We chose to be disobedient, do what the hell we want to do. The Lord has chose to reject us. You understand? Like any good father should have done. You understand what I'm saying? You disobey your father to the point of no goddamn return. And he said, listen, man, I wash my hands with you. Right. You understand what I'm saying? That's what the Lord decided to do. And it was rightfully so. which is why we in the condition that we're in. But here in the Isupk, we here to get right back with the Lord, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We trying to get right back with our Father, man. We trying to get back on good terms, man. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because we got the Most High Power who was willing to, you know what I'm saying, destroy this whole and goddamn earth. You know what I'm saying? Who will destroy this whole earth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that we can rule, man. Right? And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Commission Officer Tabo. So, bro. I'm going to get some I'm going to take that.
Son Christ, shalom. Shalom. Shalom to the brothers. Yahweh Shalaki. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. To the brothers. Yahweh Shalom. Bashim Yahweh to the sisters. Shalaki. Shalaki, my tardiness. Cruise Officer 50,001. First, I'll give Officer Mayar a hand. Holding it down, doing some walk job. Appreciate it, brother. I was like, you know what I'm saying? Getting the class started right. You know what I mean? What was you at, Yanzo?
We're at Hosea chapter 4, verse 6.
All right. What was you bringing out?
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood? Most on first. Read it from the top, brother. If you don't mind.
Verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Who's my people? Get up.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Also known as
Israel.
Right. 12 tribes of Israel. You know what I'm saying? It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. If you didn't know this, you know it now. The Lord has a people. You know what I'm saying? The Most High has a people. Everybody is not his people.
Right.
How do you know that? How do you know based on the scripture that everybody is not his people?
The first word is my people.
That's one way. That's the grammatical way. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, you have you know what I'm saying, a determiner that tells you it's possessive. A possessive, what they call pronoun, but really adjective, I think here. But so you have a possessive word that tells you it's my people. You know what I'm saying? It's not the people. Right. It's the specific one that belongs to somebody. My people. But there's another way. Give me more of a contextual way that you know that this proves that it can't be talking about. It can't be saying that everybody's his people. Yeah.
Another way, I don't know what you're looking for, but saying they're destroyed.
Most High in Christ. Get that brother a hand. It says, read it from the top.
My people are destroyed.
So that's the first thing. My people are destroyed. Like, let's just start there, right? My people are destroyed. Are all people destroyed? So-called is the so-called, you know what I'm saying, Caucasian, the oppressor, the colonizer, is he destroyed? Okay. What about the East Indians? Are they destroyed? The Chinese, Japanese? Are they destroyed? No, right? Right? Especially their oppressor, he is definitely in heaven.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the others, they get the crumbs off his table.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They eat, or they eat it. They got a small plate at his table.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We get the crumbs at the bottom. Right here. We barely can get that. You know what I'm saying? Read it from top one more time.
My people are destroyed.
My people are destroyed. Let's keep going.
For lack of knowledge.
For what?
For lack of knowledge.
People are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So they're destroyed and they're lacking knowledge. There's some things that they don't know. Read on.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
And they rejected knowledge. Go ahead.
I will also reject thee.
Right, so this people rejected the knowledge of the Most High. Did everybody do that? Let me ask you this question. Was everybody even given the knowledge of the Most High? Was everybody given the law? No. So how could heathens be the people who rejected knowledge if they were never given it? Something has to be offered to you in order for you to reject it. You know what I'm saying? So this scripture right here is talking about blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, man. Our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We don't know which way is up, man. We don't know left from right. We don't know up from down. We don't know, you know what I'm saying, who we are. We don't know our language. We don't know where we come from. We don't know our God.
Right.
Something as simple as that. We don't know our God. We don't know our Savior, what he looks like. You know what I'm saying? We know nothing about our past beyond slavery.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a Tawab, brother, for bringing that out, man. Because that's a Tawab point. You know what I'm saying? To talk about what we're going to get into today. That's the end on that?
Come
The water. Ooh, today, man. Today is Monday. What's today's date?
The 20th.
20th. Let me just say something. I'm just going to put it right out there. Today's class is going to be about, in the history of black people, in this country specifically, the most low-down, disgusting piece of garbage that has ever graced the land.
Right.
The most disgusting piece of black filth. And when I say that, I mean that to say of Benedict Arnold, a traitorous, treacherous bastard.
That's right.
Who has done nothing but help destroy black people. And he was so good at what he did, so good at destroying black people that his presence is still felt. I mean, you gotta be it's like you have like an arch nemesis. You ever see like a comic book or a movie where somebody got an arch nemesis, and this evil villain just don't go away. At the end of the movie, he be dead, he be all jacked up. It's like it's over, and then right when the credits roll, you see a hand come out of the ground like, ah! Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's still coming to terrorize.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This Salakia, this piece of basura. Spanish for garbage. This piece of trash is destroying black men, women, and children right now.
Right.
Right now, there's a barbecue happening somewhere in this man's game. And guess what? Someone will get shot at that barbecue. Black people will suffer today because of him.
Right.
And tomorrow. And last week and next month. You understand? And guess what? This is the real sad part, Salakia. Officer Tabawan has to suffer. Because the goddamn liquor store is closed on account of this. Really? I was talking to my brother earlier. If there was ever, even though it would never happen because the scriptures wouldn't allow for it and we don't need it, right? But let's just say in some universe, right, there would be an Officer Tabawan day. I would command that the last thing you do is not allow brothers to drink.
Right.
You're gonna honor me by making brothers not be able to. Good night. Ruin my whole day. You know what I'm saying? Because of this fool. Because of this fool who they praise, man.
Right.
Who they put up a goddamn statue of this bastard. You know what I'm saying? It is quite disgusting.
Right.
So we're gonna get some articles, man, and we're gonna break down this dude, you know what I'm saying, and what he truly represents for black people. You know what I'm saying? MLK was messing with young girls with Aretha Franklin dad. I couldn't believe it. I wouldn't be surprised. He was a freak. You know what I'm saying? I know Aretha Franklin's. I know her pops was a freak too. I heard about it. I heard she was not a saint either. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't shock me at all. You know what I'm saying? If that was indeed happening. I know he had a required taste, an acquired taste. You know what I'm saying? He really, really liked, give me a Tawab word. I don't want to be politically incorrect. He liked I was looking for something better than that, but that's Tawab. He liked, you know what I mean, women of the other persuasion. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't like, what happened?
He liked the other way.
He liked, well, that's what I thought. You know, he liked the other way. The other way. You know what I'm saying? That's what he liked. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so brother, if you can't Bible check, I'm gonna send you a few articles. But first things first, I want you to get me this scripture. I think you brought it out earlier, but I'm gonna pull it again if you don't mind, Bible Shah. Give me Ecclesiastes 7:7. You know what I'm saying? Because when you dealing with oppression and you dealing with slavery, and make no mistake about it, we're still in it, right? It's always some singing and dancing You know what I'm saying? Shucking and jiving, shuffling, foot shuffling. You know what they used to say back in the day, call your Uncle Tom. It's always, they got to employ one of those. They got to employ an Uncle Ruckus. They got to employ a Steven. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that we don't get too rowdy, that we don't get too rebellious. You know what I'm saying? And this is exactly why you have people like this. Because oppressors understand this. Read that.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
It says surely. That means absolutely.
Right.
Without question. It's not debatable. Read it from the top again.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. If you are a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, and you have even just have eyeballs, if you just have eyeballs, right, so you can watch the news, so you can see what's going on in the world, so you can see how our people are being treated. If you have that ability, and you are not absolutely positively upset with what you see, then my dear friend, you are a traitor. You are what America calls a Benedict Arnold. That's what you are. You are a person who will look past, you know what I'm saying? A person who will look past all of the atrocities that happen against their people and make excuses for those who perpetrate those things. But the Bible says, read it from the top.
Verse 7, surely oppression
maketh the wise man. Commanding General Yohana is on your street corner, yelling at the top of our lungs every single week, because oppression maketh a wise man mad. That's why. Right. Because we're wise men under oppression, and we see what's happening. We're not blind.
That's right.
And when we see it, it makes us angry. And we see how it makes even our brothers in the streets. It makes them mad in a different way. Oppression maketh the wise man mad. It makes a wise man angry about his condition. But oppression can also make a wise man lose his sense of self, lose his sensibilities. A once wise man is now, you understand, he's now on drugs, man. He's now that crackhead that everybody makes fun of. Even though this brother was probably going to be an engineer 20 years ago, had the ability to be great at it. You understand? Sisters is definitely in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Having trouble raising their kids, man. The family structure's off. Everything about our community is broken. And it's designed that way. Because oppression maketh the wise man mad. You're not supposed to be content in this place. You can't be. If you're a Black or Hispanic, Native Indian, being here automatically qualifies you who's going to be, how do I put it? You can't be normal or what they call normal. You can't just kind of squeeze through the fabric and just be a part of the American way, right? The American dream, as they call it. You can't do it. You understand? Either you're gonna have to sell out your people. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you. Either you're gonna have to sell out your people. You know what I'm saying? Or you're gonna have to embrace the fact and understand that you are living in captivity. Read it from top one more time.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
God, we don't.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift destroyeth the heart. Do me a favor. Look at the definition of the word pacify. I want to get this, I want to down to the, you know what I'm saying, all the way down to the nitty gritty to understand why. You want to know, by the end of this class, I want you to understand why this bastard has a statue in Washington, D.C. You know what I'm saying? That's right. There's a reason why he has a statue and nobody else does. There's a reason why he has a national holiday. If I'm not mistaken, this is a national holiday. Like businesses close, schools closed. Yeah,
The liquor store.
ABC store is closed.
the ABC store is closed. And if I may, I was telling my brother earlier, this is why me and my fellow New Yorkers and people from up top, like, this is one problem we got with y'all. I was telling y'all about earlier. What you got up?
Oh no, we did.
Yeah, y'all got this ABC store insanity, this government-ran trash, where I can't get no licks on Sunday. I can't go on this MLK Day, whatever stupid Christmas Eve, whatever holiday you can think of. And the crazy part about it is, even though I don't celebrate these holidays, I feel sorry for the people who do. Because good for them. I'm glad you can't get it. You know what I'm saying? Most high in Christ. But you want to go out and celebrate, you can't even get anything if it's too late. Meanwhile, if I was back where I'm from, I'd be sipping on some Henny right now. Instead, I'm drinking these damn Modelo's, the water, brother. I appreciate it, but you know what I'm saying? This ain't what I usually go for. You know what I'm saying? But y'all walk to the rescue with the Voodoo Rangers, the water, brother. Appreciate it. Now, you got that definition out?
Kind of.
Go ahead and read it. Is that I want the one.
Okay.
There's one on Salakia, if I can. It's in Merriam-Webster. Is that the one you got?
I got dictionary.
No, I want this one. This one is perfect. I'm about to
Okay.
I'll text it to you. Salakia. Okay. What? The water, brother. I'm gonna get to it. I'd like to go back. I just sent you a text. See if you get up. Hit over that. The water, brother. The water. Let me know if you got it out.
Start group conversation.
It should say Merriam-Webster.
Okay, I got it.
Go ahead and read that, brother. Nice and loud.
The pacify, verb, to allay or anger or agitation.
Hold on, start from the top. Tell them what this is the definition of.
The definition of the word pacify.
The definition of the word pacify.
Or pacifying.
Or pacifying. All right, go ahead and read it.
To allay the anger or agitation of.
To do what?
To allay the anger or agitation of.
I believe the word is allay, right?
Allay.
Right? But what does allay mean? I'll give it to you. Allay, allay means to subdue or reduce in intensity or severity, to alleviate. Read the definition number one again.
To allay the anger.
To allay or alleviate, to subdue, read on.
The anger or agitation of.
To allay, right? To alleviate the agitation or anger of. So to pacify something is to take something that's angry, and to soothe its anger. To subdue its anger. You understand? And we just read in Ecclesiastes that oppression maketh the wise man mad. So who do you send in because oppression maketh the wise man mad is going to lead to what? When you mad, revolution. Most high in Christ, it's going to lead to revolution.
That's right.
It's going to lead to somebody being so angry and so fed up that they're going to fight against whatever oppression they're facing. But that will never happen if you have somebody that reads that definition. Read the definition again.
To allay the anger or agitation of.
Right. Let's make it more simple. Read definition 2.
To restore to a tranquil state.
To restore to a what?
Tranquil state.
To restore to a tranquil state. What is tranquil or tranquility? Yeah, that.
Calm.
Calm. It's to make something calm and easy. This is the one I really want. Give me part B of that definition. Nice and loud.
To reduce to a submissive state.
To a what?
Submissive state.
To reduce to what?
A submissive state.
To reduce to a submissive state. Martin Luther King is the greatest pacifier in the history of America.
That's right.
And based on these definitions, he fits the bill. He allayed the anger and agitation of our people. That was his job. He was, and we're gonna read about it, right? But he was literally paid and given a high seat because of his ability to get black people to not fight, to not want more. He was able to convince us that the greatest thing we could achieve was being able to sit in some funky restaurant with people who do not know any other seasoning other than salt and pepper.
Right.
And that's what we should aspire for.
Right.
He told us that what we should really want, if black people, we got to get together so we can sit in the front of the bus when the back of the bus is better anyway. And why not just make your own bus? That's what was happening. As a result of that boycott, right? We were not taking their buses, and we were having to carpool and get our own thing together. And then as soon as they were able to get legislation, they accepted it. And now you on the bus, you know what I'm saying, sitting next to the lady that's calling you a nigger and calling and yelling and going crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You on the bus, still getting mistreated in some way, all because this man told you that's what you need to get.
And the price of the bus went up.
And the price of the bus went up, of course. You know what I'm saying? There's no, you can't win for losing. You know what I mean? But even the second definition, to restore to a tranquil state. Again, whoever heard of the Watts riots? 1965. Martin Luther King has something to say about that as well. Oh, he definitely had a response. I'm gonna read it right now. Matter of fact, let me send that to you, brother. Let me send you that because to hear this man's words, to hear if this man cared so much about black people.
Right.
Let's see. Right? Because oppression maketh the wise man mad. So these Watts riots, man, I believe it was in response to a brother being killed by the police. I think. Don't quote me on that. Let me just see real fast. I'm sending this to you, Yanazar. Select all, copy. All right. Let me know when you got that. This is a transcript of some of his words. And let me just see real quick. Watts. Watts riots, sometimes referred to as the Watts Rebellion. Ooh-wee. I'm getting a sneak peek, man. The Watts, what you got?
Martin Luther King at Canaan's Edge.
Yep, that's the one. African American motorist parole pulled over for reckless drive. Yeah, this is so the background of the Watts riots on August 11, 1965. Marquette Fry, an African American motorist on parole for robbery, was pulled over for reckless driving. A minor roadside argument broke out, which then escalated into a fight with police. Community members reported that the police had hurt a pregnant woman, and 6 days of civil unrest followed. Nearly 4,000 members of the California Army National Guard helped suppress the disturbance, which resulted in 34 deaths and over $40 million in property damage. It was the city's worst unrest until the Rodney King riots in 1992. So I want you to go to the article I just sent you, right? And I want you to go to the part where it says Dr. King's name. I hate to call him Dr. King. I mean Salakia or G Mike. But just you got to look out for Dr. King. That's what it'll say in what you read. But we know him. Hold on, Salakia. Is this that may be the one I want? No, this is the one. This is the one I want, Salakia. I want you to get that one too, but this is the one that directly talks about the LA riots in 1965. So you can actually read this article from the top as soon as you get it.
Oh, you sent me another one?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back.
Go on now. Yeah, the water.
Last speech, 1965. His words in 1965 still feel relevant. That's it. Let me go to that. That's it.
Since they watch Dr. Martin at the top, it should look like this. That's it?
Yeah.
Come on, go ahead and read it.
Watch. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. addressed Los Angeles after the Watts riots.
Right. Go ahead and jump down.
In August 1965, allegations of police brutality against a black man who was pulled over in Watts for drunk driving sparked 6 days of violent protest throughout South LA.
Right.
The Watts riots rattled not only the city, but the entire country. As Angelinos,
people from LA.
And Americans watched the city burn, Dr. Martin Luther King arrived in LA to hold a press conference on the chaotic scene.
Right. Okay. So what's going on here?
It's a riot.
Mm-hmm.
They burning up things.
Mm-hmm.
The National Guard has come in and everything, but it ain't stopping.
So the National Guard came in, right? So the National Guard, so that must be something serious. These people were putting a hurting, you know what I'm saying, on American soil, so to speak, burning businesses and things like that. And some people like to say, "Oh, you burning businesses in your community," but not our
Well, back then,
some of them were, right? But a lot of them were not as well, right? And so they took the action. And let's see what Martin Luther King had to do with it. Keep going.
Let me say, first of all, that I profoundly deplore the events that occurred in Los Angeles in the last few days.
So he's letting you know, I don't like what happened either. But read on.
King said during the August 17, 1965 press conference, the footage of which is preserved by the UCLA Film and Television Archive. I believe and have said on many occasions that violence is not the answer to social conflict, whether it is engaged in by white people in Alabama or by Negroes in Los Angeles.
Keep reading.
Violence is all the more regrettable in this period.
Listen to this filth. Read that sentence.
Violence is all the more regrettable in this period in light of the tremendous nonviolent sacrifice that both Negro and white people together have endured to bring justice to all men.
He couldn't stop without putting his boys in there. He couldn't go on and say, Black people are doing this. We're fighting for this. We're making this happen. He had to make sure, like, at the show, or the beginning of a show where it says, this message is brought to you by our sponsors. But this televised broadcast is brought to you in part by. He had to make sure he mentioned his sponsors somewhere in there. You know what I'm saying? To say we can't forget about. Matter of fact, go ahead and read on, brother.
King's voice of reason echoes through to today.
Keep going.
Over 50 years later, in an age where not much has seemed to change in race relations, conditions for minority community and leadership at the local and national level, even more so after January 20th.
So it says that King's voice of reason echoes through today, 50 years later. But then it goes on and says nothing has changed. That the conditions in that race relations are the same, conditions of minority communities, leadership at the local and national level. So what in the hell is this man being celebrated for?
Right.
It's right in front of you. Yeah.
Integration.
But how do I put it?
He was celebrated for
what is this saying happened that King is responsible for in a way?
Because
it's saying it, but it's not saying it.
he allayed the situation.
Right.
He caused the Black people to, turn away from their anger and violence. So he caused them to become tranquil.
Exactly. Which ultimately means what happened?
That the riots ended.
The riots ended, but from then to now, 50 years. Integration happened, but integration was already starting to happen then. From then to now, what has Dr. King put in place that is allowing the scope of how things are now to be as they are? We just said it.
We've become tranquil.
That's true. For time's sake, anybody else got anything? For time's sake, I'll give it to you. Martin Luther King is the reason why nothing changed.
That's right.
It's because of him, the community is still how it was.
Right.
Race relations are still how they were. Leadership is still how it was.
Right.
He has a statue in Washington, D.C. because he helped them keep the country the way they always wanted it to be.
That's right.
The vision of America that they've always had, he helped them build it up exactly how they envisioned it and maintain it to the best of their ability. That's what. So read it from again, King's Voice of Reason, one more time. That paragraph where it starts King's Voice of Reason. Because they're trying to say something good about him. King's Voice of Reason. Like, he's a smart one. He knows He knew what he was talking about. He was the reasonable one. Read it.
King's voice of reason echoes through to today, over 50 years later, in an age where not much has seemed to change in race relations, conditions for minority communities, and leadership at the local and national level.
Right. Read on.
Even more so after January 20th.
Jump to the next paragraph.
Surely, if millions of Negroes across the country are dismayed, deeply hurt and bewildered by the past few days, it stands to reason that our white friends
Our white what?
Our white friends are also.
Wait a minute. Wait. Wow. Read that again, that quote, man.
Surely, if millions of Negroes across the country are dismayed, deeply hurt, and bewildered by the past few days, it stands to reason that our white friends are also.
It stands to reason that our white friends also, because a black man was harassed by the police, it stands to reason that our white friends are also bewildered and upset and angry. And Salaki, if I may, I don't know, because y'all got to explain to me. What the hell is white friend? What is that?
I know that.
No sweat. But what the hell is he talking about?
Right.
Our white friends. Good night. Read on.
Oh, boy. The strength of the Negro-White alliance.
The Negro-White what?
Alliance.
No, the black man and the white man are enemies.
Alliance.
No. God separated the nations.
Alliance.
The Negro and white alliance. What is an alliance?
Coming together, joining together.
I want a better word than that. What you got? Allegiance, right? That's a good word. But an alliance is almost like a
to become allies.
Yeah, you're allies, but when you say alliance, it has a certain a connotation of strength. You know what I'm saying? Like together, you're fighting a common enemy, a common goal, right? There's something you want to attain together. Read on.
The strength of Negro Alliance for Justice will be maintained only if we are in constant dialogue.
If we are in constant dialogue. Ooh-wee. So he said that there are, first he said white friends. He said that they're just as upset as us. He said that we have to have a white-black alliance. Somebody give me the one in the Apocrypha, man. Never trust thine enemy. I need that one. Where is that? I think it's in Ecclesiasticus, I want to say.
So it's Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10.
God, give me that. If you could, Bob Kushak, could you give me Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48? If you can read Deuteronomy first.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
I want
You want Ecclesiasticus first?
then I want 48. Deuteronomy 28, 48.
Verse 48. Therefore, thou shalt serve thine enemies.
Just serve who?
Thine enemies.
You're gonna serve your friends.
Thine enemies.
You're gonna serve the people you're in alliance with.
Thine enemies.
You're gonna serve your enemies. Read on.
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst.
Now, can somebody please tell me at what point in American history this nation that he's talking about have been our friends? Just give me just one moment, one place where they're, you know what I'm saying, they've been our friends. Come on. I just want to know who told that man that's what we wanted.
Right.
We already had our own. Most High in Christ. That's a fact. That's a fact. I don't know who told him that. I do know who told him that. You know what I'm saying? The oppressor told him that.
Right.
The oppressor, he wasn't concerned about what we wanted. You know what I mean? He was concerned about helping out, you know what I'm saying, his friends up on Capitol Hill. So again, I was asking y'all a question, right?
Hey, no time in history.
No time. I was waiting for somebody to say never. You know what? The water, sir.
No sweat.
Come on. You got something else on that?
Come.
Can you read that?
In hunger and in thirst.
Right, he's gonna serve the enemies in hunger and in thirst. How he ever been our friend when all we've been doing is having to serve him so we can eat?
Right.
How he been our friend if we have to serve him just so we can have water? You understand that we cannot even get water. Again, we always bring it out. I believe it's not everywhere, but in certain counties and certain states, it is illegal to collect rainwater. Like we can't even drink.
I read an article about that.
We cannot even. Like you understand? Like, I don't think people understand how diabolical that is.
Right.
Like you cannot live without water. It is impossible. You can't do it. You got I think 4 or 5 days at best without water, and then you're like done. And we cannot get water to drink unless we go to the man who had us in captivity, who had us in slavery. The same one, the same government. We cannot live. We can't get no clothes.
Right.
We can't get no food. We can't get no water. Because we're doing what? We're serving our enemy.
Right.
The Bible says that the oppressor in America is our enemy.
Right.
The Bible also says that he's the devil. You understand? So why is Orgy Mike saying that we got to take care of our such and such friends? Good night. We don't know one.
And in nakedness, and in want of all things.
And in one of all things, we don't.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, man. He literally put a yoke of iron during slavery, man. He literally had us in shackles and chains. You know what I'm saying? But just like a black man talk, he put us in an iron yoke, man. He choked us up and with an iron, you know what I'm saying, chokehold. It was so strong that we can't get out of it. You know?
Until he have destroyed.
Until he has what?
Destroyed thee.
No, he wants to be your friend.
Destroyed thee.
He wants to see you prosper.
Destroyed thee.
Until he has destroyed you. Everything that this man does is a part of a well thought out mission to keep you in a state of absolute destruction, to keep you poor, to keep you childless, to keep you sick. That is his whole mission, and it's always been his mission. That man wouldn't have a statue in Washington, D.C. if he cared about black people.
Right.
You can't care about black people and have a statue down the block from slave owners, actual slave owners. You ever been to Washington, D.C.? It's literally like, sometimes you look at the money and you see George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Damn, it's like these slave owners, man. But then you go to Washington, D.C. and they have monuments to these people. Like, you want to talk about spitting in black people's faces. Imagine being from the ghettos of Washington, D.C., Southeast D.C., from the ghettos of Baltimore, Maryland, from the DMV, and you go and they say, we're going on a field trip, kids, with you and all your little black buddies, you know what I'm saying, coming from the ghettos, and then you got to go see a goddamn George Washington monument? A Thomas Jefferson Monticello, the Jefferson Monument? This is a man who impregnated one of the female slaves he owned multiple times and let his own children live in slavery. And they're not even black. Slovakia. Like, I mean, they're not even Israelites.
Right.
Like, these are the seed, but that's called being the devil. Like, these are the seed of a devil, and even he still let them be slaves. And he has a monument. And you think they're going to put a black man who wants to free black people next to him? Go ahead, Armand.
See where they put Nat Turner
Where are they putting that Turner, sir?
in goddamn jars.
That's where they putting that. Give that brother a hand. When you care about black people and you incite the fire and the rage, the spirit of warfare in black people, the spirit that comes from who? The Most High. Because the Most High is a man of war. The Lord is a man of war. When you incite that spirit in black people, you end up getting turned into what they call turning into grease? All kind of stuff. Wagon grease. I know they was cutting off his relics, that they cut off his fingers and toes and was giving stuff out from his body. What you got out?
They made a wallet out of his skin.
They made a wallet out of his skin. A wallet out of a black man. Like, this sounds like a indictment, doesn't it? This is the reality of being black in America. That when you have your real heroes The people who really looked at you and said, no, I'm going to risk it all for you, they get crucified. Did I just say crucified? The crucified, didn't somebody else get crucified because they cared about black people? Didn't they get wrongfully murdered by the government because they cared about black people? Oh, I see a pattern now. You see, we've been in captivity over and over and over and over and over again. And if you notice, man, Isupk since 1969 has been bringing out the scriptures proving that blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians are the true Jews according to the Bible. But I mean, I feel like Stevie Wonder can see it by now. Can see it by now that the patterns seem to be focused on one people. You look at in America today, we brought up the scripture earlier in Ecclesiastes, oppression maketh the wise man mad, right? No, not even that one. What's the one you was talking about, you was reading before? Mahayana, the last one you had. Yeah. What's that one say again? That's the one I wanted. The water. People are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We were breaking down who could this be talking about? Who could this be talking about? Well, guess what? The Bible also tells us that during the time of the Maccabees, some of our people did what? Against the king. They rebelled against the king, right? Because the king didn't want us to have the Sabbath, didn't want us to worship our God, and they wanted to make us do what? Eat what? Swine's flesh. And some of our people, our sister and her 7 sons was like, la. Did they get a statue in Greece or wherever the hell that was? Nah, they got boiled to death. That's what they got. And their tongues ripped out. You understand? This is the price of caring about black. Matter of fact, keep going what you got. I don't want, and Yanazar, get me Salakia. Get me Deuteronomy chapter 20 and verse 4.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
As swift as the eagle flieth. You already know what that's talking about, man. That's talking about America. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. I'm talking about America. America has that what? What's the national bird? That eagle. Just like Rome, just like Greece. Same thing over. They exalt themselves as the eagle. You know what I'm saying? Or Germany. Come. The oppressor literally, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like they said, like his spirit animal. Like they look at that eagle to them is just representative of all the boiling hot, Salaki, I'm gonna say it, oppressive pride. I ain't gonna say the WH word, you know what I'm saying? I don't want my life to be taken down. But that oppressive pride, man, that pure race pride to them. Yeah, that one.
The eagle has landed.
The eagle, they said the eagle has landed. That's what they said. That's what they said when they went out to the moon, man. They said the eagle has landed. The whole thing was a race between 2 different factions of oppressors trying to get to the moon first. And when one got to the moon, they said the eagle has landed. That's what represents them. They want to fly high. It's their spirit. Their spirit has always been about trying to be above the Most High, about soaring beyond Him, like the Tower of Babel. They want to build up. That's why they got their skyscrapers. Their cities are all New York City and other cities, your major cities, LA. They're condensed and built straight up. You know what I'm saying? So they can overlook things. They love that. They love to be up in some high because they dwell in the clefts of the rocks. Up in some high, you know what I'm saying, tower overlooking the city. You know what I'm saying? That's what they love to do. Read on.
God, whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Right? Read on.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old.
Which shall not regard the person of the old. What's that mean? What does it mean to not regard the person of the old? We got it on.
They don't take into consideration the elderly of the people that they're destroying.
Right.
They don't give a damn
Come.
about, old people being homeless.
Right.
Or getting murdered or raped or hung on a tree.
That's right.
They don't give a damn if they old. They don't give a damn.
That's right. Come. That's exactly it. They don't have regard. They lack compassion for us as their enemy, no matter what. They don't say to themselves, "Oh well, he's an old man. Let me, you know what I'm saying, let me be easy on him." You can easily find archives of old black men getting sprayed down with hoses, getting dog sicked on. You can easily find old images of young oppressors beating up old men, hanging old men, burning old men. Same way they do with young. Read on, Slocky, sir.
Shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Nor show favor to the young. They don't give a damn that Trayvon Martin. How old was he? 15?
16, 15.
He was around that age, right? A young man. He wasn't a man yet. He's still a child. You know what I'm saying? My little brother's age. He was murdered in cold blood by a devil. You understand? By a devil who then proceeded to do what?
Sell his gun for profit.
To sell the gun for profit. Why? Why? How could he do that? How could he sell his gun for profit? Yeah.
Because to other devils, the gun had value because it had killed a young black man who was their main enemy.
Because they, read it, I don't know.
Show favor, Salaki,
Which
which a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
they're not gonna show favor to the young, because to them you still a nigger. You're a beast, an animal. And one less of you is a good thing in their book. And not just you. We say black people, we talking blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. What's the famous phrase about the Native Indians?
Only good Indian is a dead.
The only good Indian is a dead one. That's what they used to say. And that's how they feel about all the 12 tribes.
They said that about, what movie was that?
Which one?
Was it Boys in the Hood? It was one movie with a white cop like, only good nigga is a dead nigga.
Yeah,
No, Boys in the Hood. Yeah.
Wow. That's what they say, man. That's exactly how they look at us. And it's obvious every day. I mean, do you think that anybody that has compassion for the young or the old would sit back and justify actual, like, this, I almost wish that I was like, this was hyperbole, like I was exaggerating. There are actual children, like toddlers and babies, who are dying of starvation at the US-Mexico border in actual dog cages.
That's right.
This is real.
Right.
It's not something that's made up. It's not, this is a documented fact. And when you ask one of these devils about it, they'll actually start talking to you and try to like rationalize, like, well, our borders, and we got to protect our borders from 3-year-olds.
I would feel like that.
We got to protect our borders from 3-year-old little Mexican girls. This is it. We need to build a wall so they can't get over the wall. You understand? This is what's going on. Our people starving, dying every single day. And your boy Orgy Mike had the audacity to say our black-white alliance, white friends. That's why the scripture says oppression maketh the wise man mad and the gift destroyeth the heart.
Right.
Martin Luther King is that gift that destroyed the heart, man. Destroys the heart of black people, man.
Right.
And Hispanics and Native Indians.
Right.
He's put in front of you so that way you lose track of the idea that, you know what? Nah, this ain't gonna work. And are we advocating violence in any way? Absolutely not. The Isupk has never been about violence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Lord said, vengeance is mine. He'll handle it. When it's time, and he needs some troopers to go, and I don't mean troopers, but he needs some soldiers to go handle biz, he'll make that decision. Christ will come back with his, you know what I'm saying, with his 10 million angels. He'll make that decision. You know what I'm saying? However, but to stifle the spirit in a man that makes him not want to be a slave anymore is a treachery for which you will never, ever find repentance. Martin Luther King is the worst thing that happened to black people. Without question. You know what I'm saying? Finish what you got out of one.
Okay. And verse 51, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil.
You in verse 49 or 50.
Okay. verse 40, that's verse 51.
Oh, no, you could drop that.
168.
Come, give me 68.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Just to show you what it's talking about. Ain't that a shocker? You never heard this before in your life, have you? You never heard this before. I know Creflo Dollar. Has this man ever even said the word Deuteronomy?
Right.
I don't know if he's ever even mouthed that. Like, I don't think he would do that. He probably can't pronounce it. Do the right thing and put the money in the bucket. Like, that's what he gonna say, man.
Right.
Because he damn sure don't know about what this saying. Read it from the top of
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Okay, now we know that Israelites was in Egypt, right? They were in captivity in Egypt. We know this. But it says, the Lord said he's going to bring you into Egypt again with ships. Somebody tell me what that's talking about. What you got, Yanzo?
It's talking about going into slavery again.
How you know we weren't going back into actual Egypt?
Because Egypt has a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in Exodus 20 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, I am the Lord thy God, which hath brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Most High Christ, give him a hand. That's a Tawab precept. That's a Tawab precept. What you got to
Say even furthermore, we wouldn't need to go back into Egypt with ships because we could just walk there.
Most High in Christ, give him a hand too. That's good. What you said was Tawab. You gave me the precept. Most High in Christ. That's what I really wanted because Egypt with ships. What the hell? Like, what ship you gonna take to get to Egypt when you damn right there?
Right.
There's no water passage that can get you to Egypt if you're already on the continent. It makes no sense. So it's talking about a different captivity. Like you brought up the precept, Most High in Christ. It's talking about He's gonna send us back into bondage with ships. Get out of one.
If I may, again, because you gotta understand that Egypt, they deem Egypt or name Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because it's synonymous with our slavery.
Right.
Because Egypt, again, it wasn't called Egypt. I think before it was called Egypt, it was called Kemet. And then before Kemet, it was called Israel or Israel.
Right.
You understand? Egypt was a Greek word for Egyptos,
Right.
which means bondage.
Right.
You understand? And because Egypt is synonymous with our slavery.
Come.
Understand? They named it Egypt.
Come.
Back when these records was written, it wasn't Egypt.
Come.
It was Mizraim.
Come. The water. You know what I'm saying? He said we're gonna send us back into Egypt, back into the house of bondage with ships. Now let me pause. Let me blow your mind again. Who else or who in the history of the world has gone into chattel slavery on cargo slave ships? I want them to give me everybody who went. What you got on y'all?
Somebody told me Africans did.
Really? Africans went into slavery on cargo slave ships?
Somebody told me.
How would you prove that did not happen? Yeah, no.
Because where the hell did they go?
Right. I mean, I don't know. Every African I know, his last name is Oba Babatunde, and you know what I'm saying? Something like that. I don't see a bunch of Africans walking around last name Grant and McClary. Jones.
It's like it was when they visited that. Their middle name be the American name.
Right, their middle name be, but you know, guess what's funny? They did that on purpose. And they probably, you know what I'm saying? I know that, like, I had one of my men I grew up with, you know what I'm saying? He was a heathen, so, you know what I'm saying? We don't obviously, nowadays, we don't kick it or nothing, but he was an Elamite. He had an Elamite name. But when I met him, I thought his name was David. Because he was saying, I'm David. Oh, David, what's up? And then somebody's like, oh, yeah, you was chilling with Deepak? I'm like, who? You know what I'm saying? Right, because they change their names sometimes for a little different reasons, just to kind of blend in and make it easier for themselves. Sometimes they have names that everybody can't pronounce, right? But their last names be Babatunde and give me some more. Like Oladipo. That goddamn him, he could ball. He can who? He can hoop, but he's a damn Hamite. You know what I'm saying? What's O? Bo. Manute Bo. You know what I'm saying?
Two African.
Right. 2 African names. Bo. Right? That's their last names. Like, that ain't names they got from, you know what I'm saying, oppressors.
Right.
Ain't no oppressive name, you know what I'm saying? Oladipo. What you got?
Exactly. And I know it's funny, but you know, a lot of people catch a lot of hatred and a lot of emotions because they feel connected to Africa so damn much.
Right.
When they don't even realize that it's not a bad thing.
Right.
Like we laughing at it, yeah, it's funny to us. But it's not a bad thing.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with you being a Oladipo, Bo, or whatever the hell you are. Be that.
Right.
I understand that's you. But what we're trying to say is that's not us.
Right.
We are over here in America being Tanishas.
Right, exactly.
And whatever the hell else, juniors.
Right.
We are not those people. And the sad part about it is when you see Africans, even Africans that grew up here in America with us, you can tell they're African.
Right.
And they'll tell you they're African because they'll tell you.
They absolutely will tell you.
My family is from Liberia or white people, and they sound African.
They damn sure do.
How the hell did Africans come from Africa and they start sounding different as hell?
Right.
You understand?
Don't make no sense.
It don't work. And the way you know it is because we've been here in America for over 400 years, right? Dwelling amongst who?
Right.
White people, Mexican people.
Right.
You see when you go across the nation that you got different accents. New York people speak a different way. Baltimore people speak
Right.
Southern people got a different accent. But no nigga from Baltimore sounds like a white man from Baltimore.
Right.
And no nigga from New York sounds like a white man from New York. But we've been raised with them.
Right.
How the hell don't we sound just like them?
Exactly.
But Africans, we supposed to be African.
Most time, get that brother. Yeah. That is just time. Cool. Excellent. Wow. We different. And the only like the other one brought out. Only thing we saying is, y'all can be what y'all want to be, man.
Right.
Y'all can be Liberian, Nigerian, Ghana, Zambia, whatever. Be that. But just realize we not y'all. The problem we have is that too many of our people want to be them. But you know what? They don't want to be you. They don't want to be you. They might want to look like dress like you, kind of. Might want to rap like you. They want to be cool like you. Because the black man in America is the coolest nigga. Salaki to the other tribes. I'm not hating on y'all. I'm just saying the black man in America is the most copied man in the world. You know what I'm saying? We got, you know what I'm saying? People want to be like us. You know what I mean? And that's all that is. But now you got, I told y'all the story, man. My older brother, Salaki, love my brother. He want to be African so bad, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I brought up the other day, I saw something about Lil Jon, the goddamn rapping producer dude from Atlanta. Another one over there that opened up a school or did something over there in Africa. And I'm like, damn, I ain't never heard of no African celebrity coming to the ghettos of Durham. Like, yo, let me open up a school for the children of Durham. Never. This has never happened. You know what I'm saying? But he went argue with me like, oh no, we all like whatever. What you got, Lauren?
Man, because even more so, it's just so asinine and so surreal, right? That you can even imagine. Like, picture a movie, right? Any movie you've ever seen that's about abduction,
right,
or kidnapping. Any goddamn movie you want to think of. It don't matter if it's dealing with nations or the movie Taken, where the white people took that one man's daughter.
Right.
Any movie you see where there's either a person or an antagonist,
right,
going to kidnap people, you always see what? Retaliation.
Right.
You always see a fight. You see the white man on the phone. I don't know who this is, but I will find you.
Right.
And I will kill you. You understand? You always see that. But somehow in America, we believe that white people got on a slave ship, sailed the Atlantic for months and months on the voyage,
right,
lost the resources, tired of being on a goddamn ship for that damn long, seasick, and still somehow had enough power to get off the goddamn ship and a land they did not know, and navigate through the wilderness and kidnap quote unquote African warriors
Good
and Shaka Zulus
Right.
and niggas who was in their own habitat.
Mm.
And you never hear about any war.
None.
There's no war on the coast of Ghana. There was no war. You was taking our daughters,
Right.
and you was taking our baby sons and
Right.
our wives and our grandparents.
Right.
And no Kunta Kinte decided
Right.
I'm gonna throw a spear.
Right.
You understand? Like,
Right.
I'm gonna let loose a goddamn tiger I got.
Come. Right.
You never hear of no war. And it's because it wasn't a war.
Exactly.
Because the African man was the one selling.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
That's all that.
That's right. Give me my hand. That's absolute truth, man. 'Cause, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know about. I mean, they try to make it seem like these African warriors is just the strongest men alive, right?
Right.
But I know my UPK brothers. Unless somebody come in here and try to harm any child, woman, brother, anything up in here, every single nigga in here is dying before that happens.
That's
Every single one.
Right.
You understand? So they gonna come to the coast of Africa and steal men,
million.
like warriors, like imagine them coming to the coast of whatever place, and Officer Yarmak is there, and they're like, "All right, come on now, we gonna hurt you." And he's like, "Okay, I'm coming." No, he's gonna give his life to make sure. I'm not going with you. I'm just dying here. I'm gonna die in my mother country, even though he's not African. I'm just giving an example. What you got? It's like, what you got?
They would pay the Arabs and Africans to capture us and bring us. Like they would give them trinkets, baubles,
Right.
rum.
It was a whole exchange of commerce. It was a whole business enterprise. We were on the short end of it. We were captured. You know what I'm saying? We were like, you know what I'm saying? We were the one. We were just in a place where we couldn't defend ourselves because we were encompassed by these real Africans. Hamites. We're not Hamites. That's what I was going to get to. We're not Ham. You know what I'm saying? But the water for bringing that up, because again, it goes right back to the topic. You want to know why people think that we're African and why they're willing to accept that narrative? Because the same thing we read before. Because they're rested. Because they're tranquil. Because they're calm. Because Orgy Mike made them think everything's okay. We can just chill now. It's all good. Who was holding something for me? You was holding something, right? I don't want. If you came by with shot, could you give me?
I had to finish 68.
Salaki, sir.
And the Lord shall bring thee, like Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Right.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
You'll see your home again, you know.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Sold to who?
Your enemies.
No, your alliance.
Your enemies.
Your friends.
Your
You
enemies.
shall be sold to your enemies, you know.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
So the Bible, man, the Most High told us that the people that we're going to get sold to are our enemies. I mean, this is not a secret, right? We all know that black people were sold and bought, by oppressors, by so-called Caucasians, correct?
Correct.
Which means, according to the Bible, the people who sold and bought us, who are that other nation, are our what?
Enemies.
Our enemies. You know, so what you got, youngster?
I was just going to say, just listen to that verse. We were sold to the white man. The white man didn't come and capture us and bring us over here. We were sold to them by the Hamites.
When I say capture, that just meant we were like captured by Hamites.
Yeah,
But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what you're saying. Absolutely. We were sold to them. We were sold to our enemies. You understand? Most High in Christ. What you got, Ron?
You know, if you read something like, if you look at the movie Sankofa, if you read some of the articles about the history of the slave trade and how it was going on in Africa, the problem why you didn't see a lot of wars was because a lot of the times white men weren't the ones going in the jungles to get
Right, exactly.
It wasn't them. They were chilling on the coast of Ghana, those slave castles.
Right.
And they had groups of the Arabians or the Middle Easterns and the Hamites bringing us out of the wilderness.
Right.
Because they knew that, you know, we were a different people.
Right.
So of course when a white man came, they said, "Oh, we're not gonna give you our own people.
Right.
We're gonna give you these people. Look,
Right.
they sleep over here in these tents in Negro land.
Right.
Or in Judah town.
Right.
We can bring them to you.
Right.
And that's how
Because how would, like you said before, how would they know how to traverse the jungle? I know people seen Tarzan. That's garbage. You know what I'm saying? How would these people who are not from this land know how to traverse this area, traverse all these trees and forests, and know how to get through and navigate and everything so they can have a tactical advantage? They couldn't. They would hire someone who did know, you know what I'm saying, to get those people from over there who aren't our people anyway. Yeah, we'll sell them to you. What you got?
I was watching this documentary with this guy, Louis Gates.
Mm-hmm.
And
Henry Louis Gates.
He went to Africa, and it was this one family of Africans, but they was bragging about they got their wealth from selling us to the white man.
Right. Good night. So what you holding something?
I think it said Deuteronomy 20:4.
Count.
Is that the one?
Yep.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 4. For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you.
He's the one that does what?
Goeth with you.
He's the one that goes with you. Read on.
To fight for you.
To do what?
To fight for you.
No. He goes with you so you can calm down.
To fight for
He
you.
goes with you to pacify you.
To fight.
He goes with you so you can love everybody.
To fight for
To
you.
fight for you. Read on.
Against your enemies.
To fight for you against your enemies.
To save you.
To save you. That's what the Most High is for. He goes with you in a time of distress when you're on his side. When you're keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, he's on your side to fight against your enemies. Not for you to side with them. Not for you to build an alliance with them. We read about it in the history class a couple weeks ago. What did we do when it came to the Greeks? All that started because we wanted to join with them. And then as soon as we got out of dealing with the Greeks, when the Maccabees came and we took everything back, what did we do? We formed an alliance with who? With the Romans. That's what we always seem to want to do. We always want to form an alliance with somebody, with a heathen nation, and we get destroyed in the end. What you got?
Even when we first went into the land that was promised to us, we was told to kill certain people.
Mm-hmm.
So because the Most High knew that there was going to be a problem in the future, we didn't even do it. We decided to go along and hang out with them.
Good night.
You know, like certain Canaanite families, like we were told to wipe them out, but we didn't. We wound up, doing commerce with them, and making agreements with them, and living amongst them. And those are the same people. Mm-hmm. When the other nations came in, helped them, capture us. Right.
Let me go to an article. I'm gonna send you another article as well.
Come on.
We're gonna keep this history rolling. Salaki. Goodness, Salaki. Sister 101.
Sure.
Woo. Yep, this is what I want. Okay, so this is an article from Stanford University. This is an address that Martin Luther King gave. Again, I'm giving y'all a little preview, man. Some of these will appear in the lecture, but we're not gonna give you too much, right? This is a called Desegregation and the Future, address delivered at the annual luncheon of the National Committee for Rural Schools. This was delivered by Martin Luther King, December 15, 1956. I believe that's the date they have, and they're not sure about that. It's around that time in New York City. There's an actual speech you can listen to, but I'm just going to read some excerpts from it. This is Michael Salakia, Martin Luther King speaking, says, let me read this little detailed thing. It says, details, King delivered his address at New York City's Commodore Hotel to the annual luncheon of the National Committee for Rural Schools, an organization that sought to improve and equalize public education in the rural South. Labor leader Benjamin F. McLaurin, one of the organizers of the committee, and Jack Stetson, rector of the International Ladies Garment Workers Institute, presided over the event. Preceding King's address, Billy Fleming, a leader of the Clarendon County Improvement Association, reported on the desegregation movement in South Carolina and paid tribute to the courage of Judge J. Wades Waring, chair of the National Committee for Rural Schools. Social psychologist Kenneth Clark introduced King, observing of the Montgomery protest leaders that they had the potential for truly great leadership, not just leadership of the American Negro, but the potential for leadership of a spiritual, ethical, and moral side of the American people who are sorely in need of such leadership. Referring to his recent experience with the segregated dining policies at the Atlanta airport, King claims that equality is not only quantitative, but also qualitative, not only a matter of mathematics and geometry, but a matter of psychology. All right, so Salak, let me go down a little bit. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to have the opportunity of being here today and to be a part of this very rich fellowship. I'm very happy to share the platform with so many distinguished Americans. I would like to say ditto to everything that has been said about these distinguished persons. By the way, he's talking about a bunch of persons, just to let y'all know that. I wish I had the time to make some statements about many of these persons because their names were wrongly remembered in America by those who are interested in freedom and human dignity. Now, let me scroll down here to get to just some major points. Now the time is passing on, and I want to have you think with me for a few moments from this subject, desegregation and the future. I think we're all concerned about the question of desegregation, and certainly we are all concerned about the future. And I want to speak about desegregation and the future. There are at least 3 basic reasons why segregation is evil. And while I get this, Ottawa, could you get me Psalms 83, please? Psalms 83, verse 1. Come. And also I need I need Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8. Somebody can hold that for me.
I got that.
Come on. I need somebody to hold one more. I also need somebody to hold Proverbs 11 and 21.
Proverbs 11 and 21.
Come.
Come.
All right, let me get back to this article. And we're going, all 3 of those scriptures we're going to read in just a moment. Salakia. Here we go. There are at least 3 basic reasons why segregation is evil. The first reason is that segregation inevitably makes for inequality. There was a time that we attempted to live with segregation. There were those who felt that we could live by a doctrine of separate but equal. And so back in 1896, the Supreme Court of this nation, through the Plessy v. Ferguson decision, established the doctrine of separate but equal as the law of the land. But we all know what happened as a result of that doctrine. There was always a strict enforcement of the separate without the slightest intention to abide by the equal. So as a result of the old Plessy doctrine, we ended up being plunged across the abyss of exploitation, where we experienced the bleakness of nagging injustice. Now, so he's talking about Reconstruction after slavery, all right? Separate but equal. He says nagging injustice. Of course there was injustice. There was the black codes. Jim Crow started to creep in. There were things that were still keeping us on the margins of society. But what is he not accounting for? What is he not mentioning when he's with the things he's saying? His agenda is very clear. He's trying to paint a picture of that time as, oh, it didn't work out. But what is he not talking about yet?
Economic exploitation.
He mentioned exploitation, but not just economic exploitation. He's not mentioning the fact that after slavery, you know what we could do better than anybody?
Yeah. Build.
Everything. Everything. We were the best blacksmiths because during slavery, they didn't have to be blacksmiths.
That's where
we
the comes from.
Right. They didn't have to sew. Our women sewed everything. They didn't have to cook. Our women cooked everything. They didn't have to, give me some more. What you got on?
Sweep.
They didn't have to sweep. They couldn't do that. They couldn't clean. You know what I'm saying? What do you call it? The people, like the people who like fix shoes and stuff. Shoemakers. Shoemakers. All of these trades and skills, we were the ones who had them. They didn't, because they had spent all this time using our labor for these things. So after Reconstruction was the time when our abilities were speaking for themselves. Yes, Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was 1921, but Tulsa, Oklahoma got destroyed. That is true. Black Wall Streets all across America got destroyed. Rosewood got destroyed. But at the end of the day, there was a independency. We were independent. We had, in those towns, before they got destroyed, we had our own everything. We had to rely on our own everything because they didn't want us around. We'll sweat. We'll make our own movie theater, our own banks. Have you ever heard of a black-owned bank? I know we've heard of it now, but I'm saying, has anyone here ever walked into a black-owned bank? Where the heck were you when you walked into a black-owned
In
bank?
Harlem, they had two.
Okay.
They had Freedom National Bank and they had Carver.
Okay, are they still there?
Carver's still there, but it's really it's a black bank in face only. Like the big money holders, the big depositors are white people.
Right. Because they deposited so much money, now they have.
Yeah.
I got what you're saying, right? But most of us have never walked into a black-owned bank, a black-owned hospital. Imagine that. A black-owned, anything you can think of. Black restaurants, several black restaurants. Not just, like, think about that, right? Like, not just a soul food spot. But you got like a dinner place over here, you get some fish over here. Then you got the chicken spot over here. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the place over here, they cook the pies. You got the bakery over here. You got the breakfast spot over here. Like, we had all kinds of things. And that's what he's not talking about. Because his agenda is for us to give me the last scripture that I told you to get.
Proverbs chapter 11, verse 21. Though hand join in hand.
So what?
Though hand join in hand.
Though hand join in hand. That's what OG Mike wanted.
That's right.
He wanted hand to join in hand. He wanted us to all sing Kumbaya together and hold hands. We shall overcome. That's what he wanted. Read on.
The wicked shall not be unpunished.
The what?
The wicked shall not be unpunished.
No, we have to keep up the spirit of Martin Luther King and understand he fought for us to come together as a nation.
The wicked shall not be unpunished.
Yeah, nice try. You try to get OG Mike to get us all. It worked for a while, right?
Yeah.
They got us. You got us off our game because you used this wicked bastard. But the Most High said you can join hand in hand all you want. The wicked is not going to be unpunished. And Martin Luther King is in that number.
That's right.
He's a part of that wicked. Give me what you got on one.
I got Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite scriptures in the whole Bible.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still.
Be not still.
O Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies.
Your what?
Thine enemies make a turmoil.
They make a what?
A turmoil. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They lift up the head. We say this prayer all the time, man. This is what real black love is about. This is what really caring about your people looks like. This is King David talking. He's praying to the Most High for what? What is he praying to the Most High for? Get out.
Destruction of our enemies.
For the destruction of our enemies. Read on.
Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel. They got OG Mike on their side. They got somebody to pacify us. Read on.
Against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Yep.
They have said, come and let us cut them off.
Let us do what?
Let us cut them off from being a nation.
Right.
That the name of Israel.
That the name of Israel
may be no more in remembrance.
Because of Martin Luther King, we stopped asking questions. We stopped wanting to know anything. We stopped trying to seek. Because think about that, right? Scripture said that oppression maketh the wise man mad. We got out of slavery, and what is the first thing we started to do? We started to build our own cities, man. We started to take everything, the little ounce of life that we had left after 400 years of hard bondage, and we took that and we put it right where it belonged. What you got, Adam?
I just read an article the other day about East St. Louis. East St. Louis was a vibrant community too.
Right. There was probably hundreds of them.
Yep. Everywhere we went, man.
Right. It wasn't just, see, we know about Tulsa. We know about Rosewood. We know about a couple more, you know what I'm saying? Jackson Ward in Richmond, Virginia. We know about Hayti. We know about, but there was plenty of them. Like the brother said, everywhere we went, you can't, I mean, imagine, it's crazy to think of, man. Like, imagine that. Imagine when you need a pair of pants, you have to go to a brother. Imagine when you need, if the winter's coming, I need a coat. You have to go to a brother or a sister to sew something. You need a pair of shoes, man. When you get sick, when it's time for your wife to give birth, and you don't have to go to their hospital and get injected with their drugs, you actually have to go to your people for these kind of things. Imagine that. Doesn't it sounds damn near like heaven, though? Good, huh?
You mentioned shoes.
Right.
You come to find out the instrument that allows people to make shoes in mass was invented by a Judite.
Good night. My shot. The invention that allows for, you know what I'm saying?
Like assembly line of shoes, make shoes quickly,
right,
was invented.
Also, we invented goddamn just about everything in this country.
Right.
The damn thing, I mean, the cotton gin was created by Eli Whitney. You know what I'm saying? What you got, on
the stick at the end of a broom was created by some nigga because
good night. Right, because they used to have a handle joint. Yo, I remember that. Yo, my grandmother had one of them joints, bro. I used to say, what the hell does she have this for? Like, this is ridiculous.
Some sister got so goddamn tired.
Right.
From bending over in that white man's house.
Right.
And she seen the stick and said, you know what? I'm getting too old for this shit.
Right.
Let me tie this goddamn stick.
Right.
Bro.
Right.
And I'm restricted. Oh, shit.
Right. And now, America.
Swiffer jets,
right? The damn invention that makes it so that, you know what I'm saying, we can get through the street safely without crashing on every block was invented by what's his name, Garrett Morgan, I want to say, the stoplight, by a black man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we do. We had the abilities and the intelligence. Go watch the movie, man. Go watch 12 Years a Slave. We were the ones who was navigating in them back creeks. You know what I'm saying? We knew maritime things like that, so we knew how to get here, how to traverse the land and things like that. You think Massa was sending? No. If they needed, I need you to go out there and see what we got. I'm thinking about expanding. They sending a bunch of us. You know what I'm saying? And let's not. And one thing I love about 12 Years a Slave, they showed a scene where the brothers ran into the natives, man. Ran into the native Indians. A lot of times we was down, we was cool with them, man.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? We was into with them. So we knew a lot of the things they knew, and they taught us stuff, and we taught them stuff, right? So when we got out of slavery, man, that was the best time for us to take back something. Now, of course, we didn't have the truth, you know what I'm saying, fully, right? So a lot of it, at least we had the spirit, man. The spirit of a nation, of a great, matter of fact, give me that. What you got around?
There's a lot of things people miss. You understand? They look at that time as us being great or a great time for black people, but they fail to realize what was the thing that persuaded or alleviated the oppression so that we could even do that.
Right.
It was white people's kingdom falling apart.
Exactly.
When their empire
Most
was falling, ours was able to rise.
Most High in Christ.
South and North came back together.
That's right. Give that brother a hand. That is a wild point, man. That's an excellent point. An excellent point. Literally, their kingdom was coming down. It was split. And from the ashes of that, we were able to come up a little bit. But then right back on track. Let's go back to the article. Somebody, what you on? You could drop that.
Psalms 83.
Keep going a little bit.
Come. They have come. So like they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom.
Right, you can drop that. You know what I'm saying? We got all the different nations that's coming up against us. I want, if you can, give me Deuteronomy 7:6. Because your man's, I'm gonna get back to the article, get to the point. I got this article and then one more, and then we done. Then we get to Salakia. So hold that. I'm gonna go back to read this article. Right? Nagging justice. But even if it had been possible, this is King speaking. possible to provide the Negro with equal facilities in terms of external construction and quantitative distribution, we would have still confronted inequality. If it had been possible to give Negro children the same number of schools proportionately and the same type of buildings as white children, so like the Negro children would have still confronted inequality in the sense that they would not have had the opportunity of communicating with all children. You see, equality is not only a matter of mathematics and geometry, but it's a matter of psychology. It's not only a quantitative something, but it is a qualitative something. And it is possible to have quantitative equality and qualitative inequality. The doctrine of separate but equal can never be. Let me drop down to one more before I get to the next article and have you read that.
That's right.
Here we go. This is the, man, makes my blood boil. And I came to see what the Supreme Court meant when they came out saying that separate facilities are inherently unequal. There is no such thing as separate but equal. Separation, segregation, inevitably makes for inequality. And I think that is the first reason why segregation is evil, because it inevitably makes for inequality. And then it says right here, applause. So they clapped when he said that. Yanazar, I had you holding something too, correct?
Yes, pertaining to what you were just talking about. This is Deuteronomy 32:8.
Read that.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
And he did what?
Divided to the nations their inheritance.
What's that mean? What does it mean to divide the nations their inheritance? Yeah, that,
To give each nation a portion of land to live off of.
right? He gave them their own land. He divided them. Read on.
When he separated the sons of Adam.
When he did what?
Separated the sons of
Who
Adam.
were the sons of Adam?
All men.
Oh, mankind.
All mankind. He separated the son. He separated all mankind. Read on.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Right. He separated the people and he bounded them based on, he made Israel at the center. He based it, everyone had to get their whatever's left over from them, right? He based it on us. But the point of the scripture is that he separated the sons of Adam. Now we can read Genesis 25 and 23 where he separated Edom, where he separated Jacob and Esau.
Right.
And he told Rebekah, he said, there's two nations in your womb. They shall be, and two manner of people shall be separated from your bowels, right? But we just read that he separated the sons of Adam. He separated all mankind according to nations. So what the hell, Salaki, let me go back to this article, man, before I get angry up in here. Good night. This wicked, where is it? I'm losing my marbles talking about this. And I came to see what the Supreme Court meant when they came out saying that separate facilities are inherently unequal. There is no such thing as separate but equal. Separation, segregation, inevitably makes for inequality. And I think that is the first reason why segregation is evil, because it inevitably makes for inequality. But the Bible just said that the Most High separated the sons of Adam. Right. So according to Orgy Mike, God is doing something that is what? Evil. Ooh-wee. And this is a minister. Oh, well, since we're on the subject, I know you holding something. I don't want you can give me that right now. Yanazar, give me
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, which one?
Jeremiah 23.
Maybe. You're probably right. What's that? Which one is that?
I have dreamed.
Oh, well, you can hold that with me. Can you get that with me on the one? And you give me Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 1. Read that real fast. Yanazar.
What's that?
Jeremiah 23 and 1.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 1.
This is why it says this, because this piece of garbage has a statue in Washington, D.C. after we just read a direct quote from him that contradicts the Bible. Read that, brother.
Woe be unto the pastor.
The Bible says, death be unto the pastors. Read on.
that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
Martin Luther King destroyed black people.
Right.
He destroyed black people in America, and he scattered the sheep of the Most High pasture. What is that? Scattering the sheep of the Most High pasture. What you got out of one?
That's what Christianity.
Right.
You got some black Christians being first apostle, first Episcopal, and Baptist,
Right.
Catholic, and you got some at Holy Trinity, some at Mount Zion,
Right.
some at the Word of God.
Right.
Some believe in the foundations of Christianity.
Right.
Some believe in whatever they believe, but it's Christian. But everybody is separated when the Lord called us to be
Right. Most High in Christ. That's an absolute fact. I'll also add this as well. Separating, it's like, so you got separating as in we're distant from each other, but then there's also the separation of here's the source and we're supposed to be here. But instead, we're moving further and further away from the source. So we're being scattered away from the Most High. What has been the biggest problem with our people since the beginning? From the line of Adam. What's the problem? Yeah,
We want to integrate and love other nations.
give him a hand. Our problem has not been that we want to be separate. Our problem has been that we want to integrate. Adam and Eve wanted to adopt the customs of other people.
Right.
They wanted to dress like other people. They wanted to speak Arabic. They wanted to, you know what I'm saying, to follow Buddhism. As we go down the line, the Tower of Babel, they wanted to be all together. Our issue has always been that we want to get down with somebody else when it's against the Most High. How about you hold it for me? I got you holding a bunch of stuff.
Jeremiah 23:1.
Finish it.
And scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord.
Right. And matter of fact, no, you two out. I'm gonna go back and read it myself because we said that one earlier. And Adawan, what you got?
Jeremiah 23, verse 25.
Go ahead, read that.
I have heard what the prophets say that prophesy lies.
They prophesy what?
That prophesy lies.
They prophesy what?
Lies.
Lies, you know?
In my name.
In my name. They prophesy lies and they claim that it comes from me. They lie and they say, the Lord told me.
Right.
God told me. They prophesy lies in the name of the Most High. Read on.
God. Saying, I have dreamed.
I have what?
I have dreamed.
I have what?
I have dreamed.
I have a dream. And one day, this nation will live out the true meaning of its creed.
Right.
Read it again.
That's a perfect.
God, verse 25. I have heard the prophets.
So the Most High said, oh, I hear the prophets.
That's right.
Read on.
That prophesy lies in my name.
He said, I hear the prophets. I hear them saying my name, but they lying on me.
Right.
They saying things about me that's not true. Read on.
Saying, I have dreamed. I have dreamed.
The Most High said, I heard a prophet saying, I dream a dream. Read on.
Verse 26. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies?
How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Martin Luther King is in this scripture right here. The Bible is prophesying that somebody was going to come along and say, I dreamed the dream.
That's right.
I dreamed the dream. Many Christian pastors have done it.
Right.
But this is talking about one that lied, and that lie is potent. Salakia. Now I got to go to it. I have a dream. Let's see what this crap. Let me see. I have a dream, which I heard. I believe he stole it. By the way, I heard the I have a dream speech he stole, so it's not even his own joint. You know what I'm saying?
He realized at the end of his career, he realized something Malcolm X knew. Realized at the end of his career,
right?
That he didn't know what the hell he was teaching.
He did. He realized. I'm jumping all over. There's so much information on this wicked bastard. It's hard to stay. You know what I'm saying? There's so much vile garbage on this man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna go to the I have a dream speech. I just know it's disgusting. Read it on your own time. You finish that out of one? Finish that, please.
Yeah, they are prophets of the deceit of their own hearts.
They are prophets of the deceit of their own heart. Orgy Mike was telling you to integrate with white people. Why? Go ahead, other one.
Well, because he wanted to have sex with white women.
Right.
Right.
Because to Orgy Mike, Tulsa, Oklahoma is hell.
Damn right.
Rosewood is hell. You know what I'm saying? Hayti and all the different Black Wall Streets is the place he does not want to be. He don't want to be in the ghetto. Because if he has to look at you niggas every single day and never be able to touch, you know what I'm saying, one of those lily white, lovely things he loves so much, he might just kill himself. So he wanted to make sure to say, no, we got to get together with our white brothers. We can't be like this. We can't be, stop the rioting, stop. Get together with our white friends. So that way he can get off a plane in Waikiki or a plane in Japan and be dealing with all kinds of horrors in hotels with the
two white women.
Yeah. I think he had one like Asian and one white girl.
Yeah.
Cheesing. Cheesing, right. Cheesing with the heathens, man.
Right.
Straight up. We can go up to that hotel. What's the one that they caught the president? Watergate. Up in the Watergate Hotel with all kinds of oppressive whores. You know what I'm saying? That's what he in there with. That's why he wanted you to join hand in hand with him. What you got, young son?
I knew a lady, she's an older woman in New York. She told me that she used to march with Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
She told me, and I believe it too.
Mm-hmm.
She said that they used to all get locked up together, but they would take Martin Luther King out the back, and everybody else would stay in the prison and be locked up.
Man.
Good night.
I believe it too when she told me.
I mean, I got another. I could just breeze through it. This man didn't care about his people. Look at this crap. This is another one. Some more quotes from this fool. This man is a fool. Like, I've never seen such garbage in my life.
Right.
Man, I don't want.
He got his, like, he walk around with the peaceful protests,
Mm-hmm.
and he walk around with the Bible,
Right.
as if he got it out the Bible. Well, of course, there's nowhere in the Bible peaceful protest, no goddamn.
Nowhere.
Everywhere in the Bible, it's about warfare.
Right.
It's about the Most High killing or flooding the earth. It's always about
Right.
killing something.
That's the one I really. Salaki. See now, it's in Psalms. Give me a time to love.
Okay.
I accidentally gave you 83. This is to wow. We were still in my breakdown, but I really wanted a time to love.
Okay. But like I was
Come,
saying, he really got his whole peaceful protest from Gandhi.
Right.
And them stinking East Indians.
Uh-huh.
Because
Right.
Gandhi was the one who believed in peaceful protest.
Right.
And not to kill a fly or
Right.
a mosquito.
Right. And guess what else Gandhi hated?
He hated black people, and he was a lawyer in South Africa, and he wasn't about peace for the South Africans.
Gandhi hated black people.
Right.
He had. I think there's a phrase, a word, kafir. It's basically like their version, right? And he talked about how the kafirs were inferior and things like that. Gandhi hated black people, and that's who Martin Luther King patterned himself after. You understand? To listen to this garbage. This I'm just gonna read it. There's a soundbite of it, but this is from a the first book is begins South Alabama just before a bloody confrontation on the Edmund Pettus Bridge between. So this is an excerpt where they're about to go on this bridge, right? And do I think this is Selma, Alabama, between state troopers and marched on the way to petition Governor George Wallace for the right of black people to vote. The book ends in 1968 on the balcony of the Marine Motel where he gets killed it out. Listen to this fool, bro. It says, so these people, they're kind of going back and forth about, you know what I'm saying, about how people were looking at the situation. It says, Dr. King had come to Selma from the Nobel Prize against the will of most of the people in this inner circle who wanted to rest and implement the end of the segregation era of the 1964 law. But he had promised some of his young staff that he would take up the right to vote as soon as the Civil Rights Bill passed. And he fulfilled that promise and went to Selma. He demonstrated for months and impulsively, to some degree, as the movement was declining, they decided to mount a dramatic march of 50 miles through the heart of Klan country with a petition. What?
With a petition?
Marched through 50 miles of Klan country with a petition?
That don't make no sense.
This brother, if I ever say, yo, we're gonna go through, we're gonna put on all the red rags we can find, we're gonna put on all the red chucks, we're gonna rock out red, bloody, everything, and we go into the nearest Crip neighborhood, and we're gonna stroll on through with a note. Please be at peace with us. Go ahead, Alvin.
Man, that just goes to show you how much not a leader Martin Luther King should have been.
Right. That's right.
Like Martin Luther King would have been a brother. If he came to me for counsel, I would tell him, don't have a wife.
Right.
You can't have a wife, brother, because you cannot protect your wife.
Right.
You will lead your wife to go die.
Right.
You will lead your kids to go die. You will take them to the very neighborhood where your people die.
Right.
And you'll march them in there.
Right.
With no protection than a goddamn piece of paper.
Right.
As if the white man has ever given a damn about a goddamn piece of paper.
Con.
That's why he should have never been the leader.
Con, get that brother a
And he
hand.
never will.
Right. Most high in Christ. It is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. If that brother, if he was to come in here, I would be the one. If I had the authority, I'd be like, look, never come to camp. No. All I want, just pay your tithes, check in. That's it.
We're gonna be speaking at camp.
Right.
I'm gonna turn around and see this nigga. Some nigga got a gun out. He over there trying to plead with the
Right, brother.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Nigga, if you don't scream,
Right.
right? You take
That's
that.
right.
Nigga got a gun ready to kill you.
That's
Nigga
right.
Trying to plead with him.
Right.
Brother, don't come to camp with me.
Foolish.
Don't come to camp with me.
Foolish. Oh, wait. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen to this crap, man. The violence broke out on the bridge that day. The sheriff's posse and the Alabama troopers with truncheons and tear gas drove them across. These people all the way back into Selma. All the way back into churches. Broke windows, charged into churches, threw people through glass. It was quite a terrible time. And it was. Footage of it was shown on television that same night, Sunday night. They broke into Judgment at Nuremberg. Something about Germans, yada yada. This is what you got on?
I got a question. I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but did Martin Luther King allow not only children, but did he allow women to march with him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did he also know that these type of things were more than likely going to happen?
No. Salaki, let me answer that for you, brother. This is a direct quote from a soundbite of King right here. Because it says, this is the other person talking about what they're about to listen to. It says, at the time of Selma, there was tremendous deferment within the movement about what to do. Some people felt that it had outlived its usefulness. Other people felt that white people should bear more of the brunt. People shifted their views. Some of the students felt King shouldn't have had the march because there would be violence. But then they felt they should march after that, whether there was violence or not, non-violent. So these are the signs of weariness. People had been subjecting themselves to non-violent discipline for 5 years. That's as long as, you know, World War II. And there were a lot of battle casualties, and it's tremendously demanding discipline to essentially be willing to die for something without being, listen to this, and this is, I think, a white man speaking. And there were a lot of battle casualties, and it's a tremendously demanding discipline to essentially be willing to die for something without being willing to kill for it. Salaki, if you cannot want, you got that scripture?
Read that.
Good night. I got the one. Yeah, I'll read it again, Your Honor, because it's so tall. It says, and there were a lot, just talking about the civil rights movement time, there were a lot of battle casualties. And it's tremendously demanding discipline to essentially be willing to die for something without being willing to kill for it. Read what you got. And they said it required a tremendous amount of discipline. There was a lot of strain over it. It ain't about no goddamn discipline. Please read that, sir.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 8.
Let's see if Martin Luther King is such a goddamn leader that he got a 60-foot statue in the, I don't say our nation, his name our nation, in the nation's capital, then you would think as a man, as a learned man, this is a man who I believe had a master's degree. He went to like theology school and all this. He supposed to know the Bible. Let's see if he read this. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 8. A time to love.
Read it from the start from verse 1.
Come
Just so they can get the background.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Right?
Verse 2, a time to be born and a time to die.
A time to be born and a time to die. Read on.
A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted.
Right? Read on.
A time to kill.
A time to what?
A time to kill.
A time to what?
A time to kill.
No, a time to march through clan territory with a petition.
To kill.
No, a time to bring a goddamn piece of paper.
To kill.
A time to beg.
To kill.
Read on.
And a time to heal.
The Bible said that there's a time to kill. There's a time for it. There are situations where you gotta kill. Martin Luther King would be the only idiot where somebody would come in his house, Coretta is in her gown, scared to death, his children scared to death, and this fool would be up there like, bro. Mind you, he's talking to a Edomite. He's not talking to a black. He's talking to an Edomite. Like, brother, why are you doing this? You don't need to. This is what this man would do. But according to the Bible, there's a time to kill. What did Christ say? Christ said that if you don't have a sword to do what?
Sell your garment.
He said, he gave an order. If you don't have a sword, sell your garment and go get one. That's what Christ said. And this bastard got a goddamn. Keep reading, sir.
Piece of paper.
Woo.
Verse 3, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up.
Jump to verse 8.
Count verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate.
A time to what?
A time to hate.
The Bible says there's a time to what?
A time to hate.
God said there's a time to what?
A time to hate.
God said there's a time to hate. It's not always time to love. MLK told you love is the how you defeat. If I can find the quote right now, I would. I got a Salaki. I'm gonna have to bring it up. I'm gonna save it for the lecture maybe, but there's a quote where he basically says we have to learn how to use love to some ridiculousness. But the Bible said that there's a time to hate. So where the hell was he falling asleep in class when they read that scripture? He must have. Oh yeah, it must not have taught that. You know what I'm saying? Because this fool, this is what he said. This is the soundbite of his speech. Dr. Martin Luther King. There may be some tear gas ahead. This is when they're marching on the bridge. This is funny. Dr. Martin Luther King. There may be some tear gas ahead. Unidentified man. Yes. Dr. King, but I say to you this afternoon that I would rather die on the highways of Alabama than to make a butchery of my conscience. Soundbite of crowd noise. Dr. King, I say to you, as we march, don't panic. And remember that we must remain true to nonviolence. I'm asking everybody in the line, if you can't be nonviolent, don't get in it. Soundbite of crowd noise. If you can't accept blows without retaliating.
It's a no for me though.
He said, if you can't accept blows without retaliating, don't get in the line.
Salaki, if I may.
Please,
this nigga, Martin Luther King, will march through hellfire to go have an orgy with white women.
That's right. This is what you need to understand. He's going through this. He's willing to go get tear gassed. Good.
Did he ever personally get beat the hell up? Did any? Hear me out for 1 second.
Good.
If white people hated him so goddamn much in these marches, is there a video I can go see where the white people said, let's just fuck him up? Where's the fine I said, let's just hose this nigga.
Salaki, so I've seen videos of him get like manhandled,
Pushed around.
Yeah, grab him up. He's getting hemmed up. But I've never seen a video of him getting like
Dog beat him.
Yeah. There was mad dogs biting niggas. Never him. Never him. Most High in Christ. What you got, Al?
He was protected because they knew that we need Aiden. Let's keep this.
Right.
This
Right.
is a good nigga right here.
Right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read one last thing and then we're gonna clip it. I gotta read this quote from Margaret Sanger. Right? First, let me show this. I highlighted this earlier. I posted it.
Didn't she give him an award or something?
The Planned Parenthood Federation of America Margaret Sanger Award.
Oh, yeah.
In 1966, Planned Parenthood Federation of America inaugurated the PPFA Margaret Sanger Award to honor the woman who founded America's family planning movement. The PPFA Margaret Sanger Award is given annually to individuals of distinction and recognition of excellence and leadership in furthering reproductive health and reproductive rights. In its first year, the award was bestowed upon 4 men: Dr. Carl G. Hartman, General William H. Draper Jr., President Lyndon Baines Johnson, the Reverend Martin Luther King.
How did you get it?
How, right? I'll tell you how.
I mean, it's supposed to be promoting childhood.
Right. As far as I don't know what the hell he did with that, right?
Me neither. That's
Well, let's read some. Let's read what this woman said. Right? She said an important quote. Stock, is it here? Yep, it's here. This is it. This is an important quote. We're gonna clip it. She said, this is something that she wrote a letter in 1939 to, I want to say, one of basically someone that worked at Planned Parenthood. He was an important, like a vice president, something to that effect, leader of the federation or something like that. And she said this. She said, well, actually, no, let me just go. I'm gonna read these 2 paragraphs and we done. Right? Salakia. I sent it to her. Right? Miss Rose, this is Margaret Sanger. We all know who Margaret Sanger is, correct?
Abortion.
Right. The abortion, yep. She's the person who got your whole community riddled with abortion clinics. And you know what I'm saying, got black women having abortions in the number of over 300,000 per year. Right? And that's just black women, right? Hispanic women also do over 200,000. Altogether, over 500,000 abortions per year. Not even counting Native Indians, right? You put that in, it's probably over 600,000, right? So she was talking about these doctors that she wants to be in her clinics. Ms. Rose sent me a copy of your letter of December 5th, and I note that you doubt it worthwhile to employ a full-time Negro physician. It seems to me, from my experience, where I have been in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, the South, that while the colored Negroes have great respect for white doctors, they can get closer to their own members and more or less lay their cards on the table, which means their ignorance, superstitions, and doubts. They do not do this with the white people. And if we can train the Negro doctor at the clinic, he can go among them with enthusiasm and with knowledge, which I believe will have far-reaching results among the colored people. She wanted to get Negro doctors so that way she can spread this filth in the black community. That was her agenda. She says, his work, in my opinion, should be entirely with the Negro profession and the nurses, hospital, social workers, as well as the county's white doctors. His success will depend upon his personality and his training by us. Listen to this part. The minister's work is also important. And also, he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to our ideals and the goal that we hope to reach. We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. This is what Margaret Sanger said in response. She knew that she had to get in contact with ministers because the minister's position, his place, was as such that he can do, what do we read at the beginning of the class?
He could tranquilize.
He could tranquilize. He could tranquilize. He could pacify. He could calm them. He could put them into a submissive state where they're listening. And so who did she end up giving an award to the very first year?
Orgy Mike,
Or Mike.
who probably wanted to have an orgy with her.
Probably. Give him an award, he gets those rewards, and that's why he made a quote about Margaret Sanger and said that her movement and the civil rights movement were basically one and the same.
Gee.
Right.
And he was right. The destruction of black people.
Most High in Christ. What you got?
And it's so powerful yet so terrible
Mm-hmm.
that in there they said they didn't want the word
Mm-hmm.
that black people, they wanted to exterminate black
Right.
people. Now the word is what? When we go back and talk to the Bible,
Right.
the word is that it is the beginning. Like the word in the
Mhm.
kingdom of heaven is something that is coming.
Right.
So the word of them destroying us,
Uh-huh.
like for there to even be a word, it has to be something.
It has to be something. Exactly.
It
It has to be
there.
something that they think. Because they try to make it seem as though she wasn't really saying that. What she was saying was she didn't want them to think that, because that's actually not true.
She said the word.
She said the word to get out, right? And in addition, this is a woman who was a believer in eugenics. She believed in eugenics and like the purity of races.
She was like a pioneer.
Right. So I'm sorry, but 3 strikes and you out. What you got on?
I don't want the word to get out that Orgy Mike was a goddamn terrible leader for
Salaki, so I do want the word to get out. Orgy Mike was a goddamn horrible leader and a piece of trash. All right. I hope that if you had a barbecue today, I hope coals wouldn't catch on fire. I hope all the food was terrible. I hope the beer was warm. I hope that everything went bad. I don't hope you died or nothing. Anybody got injured, but I just hope it didn't turn out well. You know what I'm saying? If you just stayed in the crib, then you don't know Most High in Christ. But other than that, this is a disgusting day. They celebrating this man because he helped destroy black people. That's the only way you get celebrated in America. With that, Pastor Class Over, peace over somebody, y'all.
That cover looking smooth.
Oh, you got one? What you mean I got one? I got one too. Yeah, I bought it, bro, off Amazon.
Oh,
Right.
I feel bad for brothers who ain't got one of these.
Yeah. They gonna be cold. This one, I know they freezing. This joint is the warmest. You know what I'm saying? Most High in Christ.
ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Jim Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashur. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever the amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations. Right? Which is on
February 25th and 26th.
February 25th and 26th.
God.
As we get closer to that, we of course keep everybody posted, let you know what's going on with that. Just a reminder, Akim and Akwati, you know what I'm saying, to stay posted, stay on social media, ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You know what I'm saying, for ISUPK events and materials, of course, right?
Oh, don't forget the lecture.
And the election coming up, you know what I'm saying, this Sunday, ooh-wee. Make sure y'all here. What time is it start?
1 o'clock, 1 p.m.
All right.
I'm saying 1 p.m. here. It's going to be held right here at the Durham School. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the area, if you can get down here, Most High in Christ, 2534 South Roxborough Street. You know what I'm saying? Myself, and more importantly, Officer of 5 Racks, Natazah. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be breaking down. We're going to be using some of the information we brought out today. This was actually a little bit of a preview. You know what I'm saying? With the same thing I did last week. We're going to be talking about revolution versus Christianity, the destruction of slave rebellion in America. We're going to actually chronicle the entire movement of the same thing we talked about today, but we're going to kind of expand it, go from slavery all the way up to modern day today, and show you how Christianity has been absolutely adverse to our freedom, you know what I'm saying, into us breaking the bonds of captivity. And don't forget, in addition to myself and Officer Natazar, we got my man Officer Yaramok hosting the joint, man. Give him a hand, man.
Right.
Officer 500, you know what I'm saying? 500 Yaramok will be hosting that joint. So please, if you can, come through. You got any questions, and there's gonna be a lot of priests in here. When you get those questions answered, this is the place for you to be. January 26th, this Sunday, 1 p.m.
Right.
Go on, brother.
Yeah. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start with all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, I'm Maya.
Right? So I so.